What's up, Joe? What's up, everybody? The second half of the NBA season is underway, so things are about to get serious as the top teams position themselves for the playoffs. My man Larry Williams joins me to talk about a number of issues, including whether the Lakers have enough to emerge from the Western Conference. Let me just say we don't see eye to eye on this one, but it's all good. How can it not be? After all, it's the return of the NBA on Sports 360. Scully Productions. Joining me today on Sports 360 is our man Larry Williams, and he joins us today to talk about the second half of the NBA season, what to look forward to, and also to talk a little bit about that first half and what went down. What's up, Larry? How you doing, man?
I'm great, Jeff. And yourself?
I'm doing great too. I'm doing great. Listen, man, it's been a long time since we've gotten together, but we've reached that halfway point, even though more than half the games have been played. But we're just a week out from the All-Star game, and we're officially in the second half of the NBA season. And man, I just want to jump right into it, man, and talk about what get your thoughts about the first half of the season and how you view things shaping up as we head down the stretch.
Hey, I'm gonna start off in the East, Jeff, and I'm telling you that Eastern Conference. I mean, Milwaukee has everybody scared except for Toronto. I mean, and I saw Toronto play tonight, and they won by the largest margin they've ever won a game by 40-some points. And I was the first one that would have said, with Kawhi Leonard leaving, there's no way Toronto would be. But Siakam has showed me something, and I always knew he had it in him, but I didn't know he could actually, lead it over to his whole team. This is a kid that actually is in the league because he told his father, because all his other brothers tried to make it and they didn't. He told his father while he was living that he would make it. And then he actually made it, but his father had deceased. And I think this kid is on a mission. And I mean, I'm not using that like he wouldn't have been on that mission without that, but now he's on a even more of a mission because of the fact that his father never got a chance to see him, make it to the NBA. And Siakam plays every day like you would want every player to play. So even though Milwaukee is winning, I still say Toronto Raptors is not the team you ever want to see in the playoffs. So The second half of the season, I really think they're gearing to prove that they were a team. Even with Kawhi, they were a great team, but they're a great team even if Kawhi decided to not, to sign back. And they're trying to prove a point. And so far they have.
Yeah. Well, this coming Tuesday, we have a matchup between Milwaukee and Toronto. And so, we'll see, obviously that's a big game on the schedule. But, right now Milwaukee is, just head and shoulders. They have like a 6 or 7 game lead in the East over Toronto in that second spot. And I hear what you're saying about Toronto. I think Toronto has been a surprise to most people. I think a lot of people thought they were going to take a step back. Obviously, they won the championship last year. I think people believe they were going to be good, but not as good as they've been. And, you talk about Siakam, but you also got to talk about Kyle Lowry, too, because he's been balling. And you got to give that coaching staff some credit along with the players. But I tell you what, I mean, right now, Milwaukee is also on the mission because I think when they got knocked out last year, that left a bad taste in their mouth. And they've come back with a vengeance, and they've had their pedal to the metal since the season began. So right now they're looking really tough.
Hey, so I'm just again, we saw Boston tonight lose a tough one to the Lakers, but hey man, those young boys on the Boston Celtics again. Remember I told you this last year. I don't think they're old enough to even realize that they're not supposed to be that good. But Tatum, Brown, what's this kid that came over from Utah name? Kid that came over
Gordon
from Utah,
Hayward.
Gordon Hayward. I mean, these kids are playing. Marcus Smart is willing to be the guy that I don't need the glory. I just want to win the story. He'll take that. As long as we can be the top story, I'll give up the glory. Marcus Smart is playing out of this world. Defensively, he's hitting big shots. He's doing whatever is needed for his team just, to sustain itself and show that they're a championship caliber team.
Yeah, and I like Boston, man. I mean, I think I really do think though they're getting past that point of I think they've grown up. I mean, even though Jason Tatum's not even 22 years old yet, you know what I mean? He's 21. But you saw the game he had today, scored 40 something points against the Lakers.
41.
Yeah, I thought they kept him on the bench too long, quite frankly, in the fourth quarter. And they didn't bring him back. There was like 7 minutes to go in the game, or 6 and change. But in any event, he certainly has, he's stepped up and he's come into his own. And, you got Kimba, as you said, Jaylen Brown. So I like their mix. And so I think that they will be a tough team. But Dub, you know what? When you talk about the East, I think the only 3 teams worth talking about, really, and no disrespect to Miami or to Indiana or Philly, forget Philly. Philly to me is an imposter this year. I think the only teams that really are, have a chance to do damage in the playoffs are those top 3: Milwaukee, Toronto, and Boston. What do you think?
But when we're talking about playoffs, because that's 7-game series, coaches making changes and making, the adjustment, and the players. Coaches can make adjustments, but if players don't understand what the coach is doing, it doesn't matter. And I think that's what you have with your Philly. Philly, I think the coach is making the adjustment, but the players don't want to make the adjustment. They want to think their way is the highway, is the right way. So you got Indiana, man, and I'm telling you, I hear what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with you 100. Well, I said 99%. But I would not want to play Nate McMillan in the way the Indiana Pacers are playing right now. I wouldn't. So, like I said, until the playoffs come, it's up in the air because you got another half. And we're talking about, we know NBA is you're only as good as your stars are healthy. If one star goes down, that's it. It's almost like curtains up, curtains closed.
Yeah.
So with Indiana, they already deal with all the injuries. They already deal with all the players that are not superstars. They already deal with all that. So it would be another day at the office for them. So that's the part you have to see, that they're used to just doing what they do, and making the adjustments the way they need to make. They have to make adjustments every game almost, depending on who's hurt. But like I said, at the end of the day, those 3 teams, if everyone's healthy, those 3 teams you just said, Milwaukee, Toronto, and Boston, they run the gamut. I would agree to that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, Indiana, is always going to be a tough out. I just, I think those other teams are better. But we'll see again as they come down the stretch. Not only health, but just what kind of ball you're playing toward the end of the season too. You know what I mean? You want to be playing your best ball as you head into the playoffs. And so it's going to be interesting. But in the East, it doesn't. You know, I think it's not as intriguing as out west for example, where the Lakers are doing really well. They have like a 5-game lead over Denver, and the Clippers have been scuffling a little bit. They've been banged up. A lot of people think that they're the best team out in the West and that they will emerge with the number 1 seed. But right now, the Lakers have a 5-game cushion on second seeded Denver, and the Clippers are in third place. But well, what's your thoughts on the West, man? Do the Lakers have enough? You know what I mean? LeBron and AD going to give you theirs, but it seemed to me they still need that reliable third option, and they don't really have that. But what are your thoughts about the Lakers and overall about what's going on out West?
I saw something today in the Lakers that would scare every team in the NBA. Dwight Howard has moved back about 2 feet from the free throw line and actually has been hitting his free throws. Now, we talk about Dwight Howard because we know he wasn't scoring at the rate he was because he's not the 1, 2, or 3 third option for any team, as of late. And then the fact that he couldn't hit free throws really put him out of the whole equation. Like, so what? He's on the floor, but he doesn't contribute offensively. But the fact that he was hitting his free throws today, that he's moved back 2 feet from the free throw line and he was hitting those free throws, that makes the Lakers one of the most dangerous teams in the league. You're talking about JaVale McGee, who's an athlete around the basket. You're talking about LeBron James, who can jump over the backboard. Talking about what's his name from
Anthony
Kentucky?
Davis.
AD. That's why I can't remember his name. I call him AD so much I can't remember his name. AD, and then you're talking about Dwight Howard. You're talking about 3 7-footers that can jump, and they score in different ways. AD scores inside, outside, 3-point. Dwight Howard scores, free throw line extended, free throws, dunks. And JaVale McGee is strictly, when you get to the goal, let him dunk. Throw it up over everybody and he dunks. That alone with LeBron James, and everybody forgets this now. My guy, because I'm a point guard, Rondo is one of the best point guards still in this NBA. If you want to just speak of point guards, we're not talking about scoring guards, scoring point guard. We're talking about point guards, people who can direct traffic, lead teams. He's still one of the best. So that makes them, I'm just telling you, in a 7-game series to anybody, I still go with the Lakers. Not to mention that LeBron, his relationship with Kobe, as well Kobe's relationship with everyone in the NBA, has made them, go on a mission. And their mission is to only win the ship. They don't have any other mission. And I can't say that any other team has that. Even though Milwaukee is good and they're winning, I think they still have other agendas like, hey, we're going to beat everybody. Not just like their goal is to win the ship. I can't see that. I don't hear that. With LeBron, you hear it. And being that LeBron is one of the best players still in the league, that's dangerous.
Well, let me just jump in here. 'Cause I got to tell you this. I'm going to have to beg to differ with you. You're going to tell me because Dwight Howard is hitting free throws that makes the Lakers dangerous. To me, they still need that reliable third option, right? Because I'm telling you, man, one of the things that concerns me is that they are riding LeBron and AD like nobody's business. Like today, after the game, ESPN puts up there AD and LeBron combined for 61 points. And you know what, Dub? They have to do that. They have to do that every single game because if they don't, they're not winning. And because they don't have someone else who can reliably go out there and give them 15 to 20 points so that they have 3 guys out there who are clicking. And I know what you're saying about Rondo, but man, I think Rondo's running on fumes, bro. I really do. I think he still got it up in his head, but I think he can only give you like quality leadership and quality games every once in a while. I think he's too old, Dub. I don't think he got enough in the tank. So
Here's the deal, Jeff, and not to cut you off. I promise you not to cut you off. But here's the deal. In this game of basketball, there's knowledge and then there's athleticism. Athleticism will take you, a long way. But knowledge will take you across the finish line. And I'm saying Rondo understands what he can do, what he can't do, and he only does the things he can do. As opposed to you got a lot of point guards who are great. I mean, they're good. But they try to do more than they're supposed to do. Just do what you do. And your team realizes that because you practice with them every day, then they benefit from all of your knowledge as well as what their athleticism is, And that's what I'm saying. And I understand Rondo is only probably at the most 25 minutes a
right,
game
he don't
guy.
even start.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, what other team now that Detroit just got rid of their point guard Reggie, and now they got D Rose starting? Who comes in if D Rose is having a bad day? And I'm just using that team, not that they're a competitive team or championship team. I'm just showing you. And D Rose, I'm still saying right now has emerged as one of the best point guards still in this league with scoring ability, defensive wise, athleticism. He's showing you he's still, at the top.
Derrick Rose, great, but he playing on a team that's going nowhere. But I'm talking about Rondo, though, right?
Man.
See, but Rondo, to me, because listen, there comes a time too, and I know what you're saying, that you have athleticism and then you have that wisdom, right? And I get that. But and you've been there, because we've all been there as we get older in this life, right? Where your mind knows what to do, but your body said, right? Because he just can't do it anymore. And
But
so
he's not at that point yet. He's not
I beg to differ. I
I don't
think
think
he
so.
is. I think Rondo is on fumes, bro.
I think he knows when to turn it on, and I think now he's coasting because he's trying to get to that playoff point. And when the playoffs comes, he's going to turn it up even more.
Okay.
I mean, I've been there. I've been where you've been injured for half the season, and you say, I'm just trying to make it to the end. If we get there, then, I mean, you'll see who I'm really made of, because now I won't have any excuses. Even if I'm hurting, I won't show you I'm hurting, because I only know I got 3 or 4 more games, and it's all over.
Well,
And
let me
I'm
ask you
willing to
this,
risk.
though. Let me ask you this, Dub. Does it concern you that we're more than halfway through the season and Kyle Kuzma has yet to seem to figure out how he can be an effective third option? Because if anybody on that team could step up and be a third option, to AD and to LeBron, it would be Kyle Kuzma. And yet he hasn't seemed to quite fit into that, because it's a change of role for him. Does that concern you that at this stage of the season that the Lakers and Kuzma have not yet figured that out?
It doesn't, because this is why I tell you it doesn't. Because remember the game they played the Clippers, and he guarded Kawhi Leonard, who is my favorite player in basketball right now. You can take Giannis, you can take LeBron. I'm telling you, Kawhi is my dude. And I don't, I'm not a fan of anyone. I'm saying only because of his approach to the game, consistency to the game. So having said that, with seeing Kuzma shut Kawhi down at the end, I have no problem with that, because you may
Well,
not be
what game did you see when Kuzma shut down Kawhi? Because I didn't see it.
the game they played the Clippers, and Kawhi was scoring, and then they switched over, and the Lakers beat the Clippers.
No, whoa. The Lakers didn't beat the Clippers this year.
Come on, man.
You come on, go check it out. They lost the first game of the season, and they lost on Christmas. When did the Lakers beat them? When I missed that game?
No, and I'm slipping because I'm from Houston, and I don't want to embarrass my. It was when they played the Rockets, and he shut down James Harden. They moved him over to James Harden.
Oh,
I apologize.
okay.
My mistake. But I know it's either the team I love because I'm from Houston, or the player I love, which was Kawhi. So I know it's two, but I take it back. It was the Rockets when they switched him over to James Harden, and he played his defense. So you can be the third wheel on any team as long as you're bringing something. And if what you're bringing is defense, or you're bringing offensive rebounds, or you're bringing just deflections from playing defense, or if you are hitting threes, just all the threes they aren't hitting, you can bring that third wheel. But every team has to have two players every night that to be successful. I think you got to have two players every night that are bringing it. And with AD and LeBron, they're paid to bring it every night. So bring it. I mean, what?
And they do, I mean, I think. Look, I would just like to see the Lakers have someone to consistently help out those two guys. Every now and then, Kuzma might put up a good game. Every now and then, Danny Green might put up a good game. But they don't seem to really have that reliable other option, someone who you can say, hey, man, give me 15. You know what I mean? Kuzma has that ability, but he just hasn't done it yet. And look, I like the Clippers. I think the Clippers are really a balanced team with, your favorite player, Kawhi, and with Paul George. And they got, Beverly doing his junkyard dog routine at the point guard. And then you got Lou Williams, who comes off the bench and gives you some, scoring. You got Harrell, who gives you some, that scoring from the inside. And they picked up, Morris from the Knicks.
They got the best bench scoring in the NBA, period.
Yeah, man.
Those guys come off the bench, and we talked about that. You and I talked about that. Those guys could probably start on every team except for the team they're playing on.
Mm-hmm. So I like them. I think they're a little banged up, but and so far the Lakers haven't proven that they're able to beat them. And I gotta tell you what, the games I've seen where, Clippers, Lakers, it seems to me Kawhi, as he always does, he rises to the occasion and to the challenge. And to me, LeBron played a little bit small in those games, man. So because I don't know he wants to go up against Kawhi. You know what I mean? But look, I pull for LeBron. I root for LeBron. I'll continue to do that. But something just tells me that if the Lakers don't develop, a little bit more balance, I'm going to call it, with some other guys adding some consistent offense, I think come playoff time, it might get a little tight for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got bounced.
Right. With the fact that they waived big man from Kentucky, and he was waived, and now they're discussing bringing on Marquise Morris.
Yeah.
To the team. I don't see Marquise as being the answer to the equation, to the solution to what they need. But the fact that they waived him, and I'm telling you who I would go get if I was the Lakers, Jamal Crawford would be my pick. And the reason I said Jamal Crawford, because even if he wasn't scoring, he would be making plays for someone. And the fact that Jamal Crawford has never been known as a defensive liability. I'm not saying he's a defensive stopper. He's never been known as a defensive liability. And that would answer your question at the point guard for the Lakers, for when you're saying Rondo can only go 25, and then you got Crawford who's going the other 20, 23 minutes, should I say, that they played. He would be the answer to your question. And believe me, this kid, I know him personally because he played for Phoenix when my son was there, and I had up close and in-depth look at him. I don't care what you say. Jamal Crawford is still capable of scoring 60 points in a game. He's capable. He's that kind of guy. I'm telling you, I've been impressed with this kid since '94. So now,
Yeah, but think about what you're saying, though, Dub. I mean, again, that's another guy that got a lot of, he got a lot of miles on him. You know what I mean? The tread on his tires are bare. You can't stick a penny in it. You know what I mean? You know how you check your tires? You want to see if you still got enough, where you stick a penny in the groove to see to see how much
yeah, yeah,
to see how
you're
much
like
the Lincoln is showing. I think
you're
I
like
think you can see
everybody
the
else.
whole penny on him, man.
You're like everybody else, but you seem to forget professionalism.
Nah,
That's
I'm
what,
not.
man. These are
You know what
guys that
Mark
take.
Jackson say? You know what
These are
Mark
guys
Jackson
that
always
take
say?
care of their bodies. What did Mark say?
He always says that Father Time is undefeated. And listen, man.
I'll agree. I'll agree. But if you brought me in for my last hurrah, and I was 35, and you know what, still better than most of the kids that are 22 and 25 and 27. I'm better than most of them, even at my age. And I know this is my last hurrah. Do you not think I'm not gonna lay everything out for you because I'm a professional?
Yes,
I'm
I
not.
do. I do
Okay,
believe you're
so
gonna
so
do
that
that.
that's all I'm talking about. We're talking about one season, finishing a half of a season, and you're telling me Jamal Crawford just came off of last year playing where he scored 50 points in a game, and you don't think he has a half of a season left in him?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
No.
is I think that to put your eggs in that kind of a basket with a guy whose best years are certainly behind him. All I'm saying is I'm not certain that that is what is going to happen when you go up, for example, against the Clippers, because the Clippers aren't relying on anybody like that. They're not relying on someone who's on their
And
last hurrah.
I'm
They
only
got
talking about the
guys,
Lakers.
man.
I'm only talking about the Lakers team because we're talking about older guys. You're talking about Rondo, so I'm talking about the Lakers.
Me too. But I'm just saying,
So,
I don't know if they got enough to tangle with the Clippers. Because see, the Clippers aren't relying on a Jamal Crawford or a Ray John Rondo. They got guys who right now aren't on their last hurrah. They got guys who are ready to bring it. You know what I mean? And they have a really balanced team. And I think the Lakers are unbalanced. They're top heavy.
so
LeBron
you
and
got you got.
AD at the top,
Let
and
me let
then
me,
at
let
the
me do the
bottom,
matchup
they're not
for you.
too good.
Let me do the matchup for you. So you got Kawhi and LeBron balance out. Okay,
Kawhi.
you got Kawhi and LeBron balance out. Because each one of them are capable of scoring 30 points in a game. Each
Yeah,
one of them.
I'll take
Let's,
Kawhi.
okay. No, I will. I told you he's my guy, but I'm just saying we're matching them up now. We're
Okay.
matching them up. So you got Kawhi and LeBron. So now you got Paul George and Anthony Davis. Come on, I'm throwing
Why are you
Anthony.
putting Paul George on Anthony Davis?
I'm not putting him on him. We're matching up with who's gonna produce for each team.
Okay, fair enough.
It's
Fine.
it's
Okay.
production for teams.
Okay. All
The
right.
game is about matchups. So even if
Okay,
you
but you're gonna run out of people on the Lakers real fast. Okay, so go ahead. Who's
no.
next?
So now I got Rondo. I understand that Beverly is a scrappy downer, but I'm gonna put Rondo on him because that's what he is. He's a veteran. He's getting your mind. He's gonna play those games with you, and whatever game you want to play, I'm willing to play with you. So we nullify each other. So now we're nullified. So now
Nah,
wait,
no.
I know you got Montreal Harris, but guess what? For this game only, I'm talking Dwight Howard into playing his best defensive game and
Nah,
give all
nah,
just a 7-game series. We're talking about
nah.
a 7-game series, and we need to win 4 of them. So we're gonna do it in 5. So it's a 5-game series.
Mm.
So I'm talking him into playing defense on a Montreal Harris. You got to give me all the energy you got on. Make sure you get all the defense rebound.
Dwight Howard's he's walking foul trouble.
See,
You know that.
I
Dwight
got you,
Howard.
but wait. When he's tired, I'm bringing in JaVale McGee.
Oh yeah, JaVale McGee. You saw the game the other day? JaVale McGee had 3 fouls in the
You
first
can't
quarter.
base it on games that you see doing this because these are games. When it's a 7-game series, we're
Come on.
strategizing only
Okay.
with one team.
But JaVale McGee is the star of Shaq and the Fool. And you going to be talking about JaVale McGee. Look, I like JaVale McGee. Okay. But look what you're talking about, Dub.
Man, I'm
I
gonna have to
mean,
talk to. I'm gonna tell Pam. You said it's on his star taking the food, man. Come
well,
on, man.
look, I'm just stating the obvious. Isn't he like the 2-time like defending
Yeah, he
champion of
was.
Shaq and the Fool?
I got you. He got you. You got me. I understand that. But what
All
I'm
right.
telling
Well,
you is,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. This makes it interesting. We'll just see how the rest of the season plays out. But I'm telling you, Dub, I'm really concerned about the Lakers. Like I said, I always root for LeBron. So this is not anybody, I'm not hating on LeBron or hating on the Lakers or nothing like that. And I like AD. My concern is I don't think they have enough firepower. I don't, after those two guys who are reliable. And I think when push comes to shove in the postseason, when it becomes harder to score, you need guys who are going to get buckets. And I think the Lakers have two guys who can get you buckets. But I'm watching the game today, and I was concerned that AD couldn't dominate in the post. They were
well,
putting
every
he
dog
didn't
has
dominate in the post. He was
every
shooting jump
dog has a
shots.
bad day. He had a bad
Oh,
game, and I was sitting there telling the people that was watching the game with me. He said, "Who in the end gonna take over?" I said, "It's got to be LeBron today because AD is not having a good game today. So you got to stick with LeBron." So when LeBron hits the turnaround jumper to kind of like seal the game, you go, "Okay, I guess you know about basketball." No, it's just it's game to game, and that's what strategizing is. It's okay. I'm going to play this game. I come into it with a formula, but if it's not working and we get to the end and it's still doable that we can win, I have to go with what works, what has worked the most today.
yeah,
Because
I
we're
get
playing
that.
today.
But Jaylen Brown and Tatum,
Tatum
right,
and
were giving AD fits in the post. And all I'm saying is
first of
AD
all,
is
you're
too
talking
big and
about
too
him holding
talented.
a
He should
2
be
and
able to
3,
dominate those guys in the post.
but AD is a 4, and you're true. He has skills as a 3, but he's a 4. It is the position that you can defend. You can't defend a Jaylen Brown who's cat quick. You can't
No,
defend a
not
Tatum.
defensive. No, I'm not talking about defense. I'm
Yeah,
talking about on the offensive end.
no,
They were
my point
bodying
is,
him up and pushing him and stripping him of the ball.
right?
And
He had a bad day. He did
okay,
have a bad day.
all right.
But because you look at the game he had prior to this where he scored 30-some points, and you would say no one could stop AD. I mean, that's basketball. You got to understand that everybody's not going to have a good day all the time. And look, listen to what you just said. You said LeBron's your guy. So you still saying, I'm telling you, Kawhi is my guy, but I really don't think they can beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. The
Okay.
only advantage they have in a 7-game series, which is real powerful, is their coach. I think Doc Rivers is a better coach than Vogel. I really do. And that's not taking anything from Vogel. It's just that Doc Rivers has been doing it longer, and I think he plays the game. He understands more, and he's personable with his players. I don't think LeBron, the ADs, and all those guys allow any coach to ever be personable with them unless it was a Doc Rivers, someone they could relate to. I don't see that ever happen. That's why LeBron won a championship with Tyronn Lue, because that was a person that LeBron could actually be personable with. So it's so many intangibles to this game of winning that people only see the players. The players are only part of the aspect. The coaching, the relationship you have with your coach, the relationship you have with your players, all that is it's so important that it's so valuable that people who don't coach don't understand. You know it because you're in the baseball field and you know how tangible it is that the coach, player, manager relationship with the players is. Most people don't. They just see talent. It's more to it than just talent. You have to be able to put those pieces together. And I'm looking at it when I'm talking to you. Believe me, I have my own personal opinion, but then I'm trying to do it from a perspective of if I'm coaching these guys or whatever's happening, what's going on with them and their coaches. I'm trying to be as how I say well-rounded with the whole process as I can. I'm not just looking at it from one angle.
I hear
and
you.
That's why I say Los Angeles is the best team right now.
Which
Let's
Los
say
Angeles? Which one?
the Lakers. I know I keep forgetting there's two. Denver, I'm being honest. Denver is there, but I can't see Denver beating LA
No,
or the Clippers in a 7-game series.
neither do I. But let's switch gears for a second, because
Yeah.
you down there in Houston, and Houston seems to me to think that they have always have like they have a better mousetrap. And look, Westbrook and has played well this year, I think. And I think he and Harden have been a pretty dynamic combination. But now they've gone to this thing where they've traded away Clint Capella, right? And they're playing ultimate small ball.
Mhm.
I'm not even going to say a lot on this. All right. Here's my opinion on small ball. It ain't going to work. So, what's your thought? That's all I'm going to say about it. But what's your
I'm 110% in agreement with you. It works when you play game to game because no one can really know what it's about until we play you. But after a 7-game series and we figure this out, I got an answer. I'm going to get the lead. And once I get the lead, I want you to keep shooting threes because we understand the percentage of hitting the three is a lot lower than the percentage of me hitting the two and getting fouled and hitting the free throw. So let's do that. And I got a big man inside, and we're going to see what you're going to do. We're going to see what you're going to do to change what you're doing. And if you change anything from the small ball capacity of running hollow, shooting follow, you're out of it. That's all you can do with small ball. Running hollow, shooting follow. That's it.
right?
It's no more. It's nothing else to it. They've been luckily, 3 of the last 5 games they've won simply because that's been their motto, and teams are saying, well, we're going to think we can beat them, but okay, they luck up and they hit some threes. But we all know the best 3-point shooter in the NBA back when Larry Bird and Reggie Miller and all of them was playing, when there was real 3-point shooters. You got guys that shoot them now, but it's in volume. But we talking about guys who used to hit them because they could only shoot 5 a game and maybe 6 a game at the max, and they would hit 3 or 4 out of the 5, was only shooting 30-some, 38, 39, close to 40%. Not always 40, but 39.9%. So you do that as opposed to somebody in a playoff shooting layups and dunking. We already know that the percentage is going to be in the 50s or the 60s. So you're not going to win games. I mean, let's be realistic. And then when your offensive players don't play defense, yeah, you go out and get Covington. You go out and, you get somebody who you think can play defense a little bit, but he can only guard one man at a time. Westbrook, I give him credit. He plays defense at the point guard position as well as offense. But you let Russell Westbrook get hurt for 3 games, you out of it. Because James Harden can't even do what Westbrook does. I mean, he can't create havoc on speed.
No.
He can't do that. So
And you know what else, Dub? I think over the past couple of years, Harden has slowly, in my opinion, developed a reputation of a guy who ultimately disappoints in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Where you need him to be the guy who he was during the season, and he doesn't. Yeah, because it gets tough. But I think Houston, with this small ball now, where they're trying to come up with this entirely different way of playing, and I think they've always been driven by analytics over these past few years, and I think they've taken that up a notch now, and I don't think it's going to work. I think that like you said, I think during the season you're gonna get your games here and there, but in a series where people can game plan and make adjustments and all the rest of that, and you're playing the same opponent, for a week and 2 weeks or whatever. I just don't see that working. And here's my prediction: this is the Mike D'Antoni swan song. He out of here.
Hey, here's the deal. You if you want to talk about analytics says offense wins games, defense wins championships. So now, if you're going to do the analytics, consider defense somewhere in that analyzation. You know, come on. I mean, they don't. They
Nope.
don't consider defense. They went out and got Covington, but that's one guy who's known to play defense and still give you the 3 and D. He'll play defense and he'll hit the 3. So is that going to really just take you to another level when you had Capella, who was literally at some point taking care of the inside, even though there's no more center position in basketball. We can agree to that. You don't have to be a pure center, but he has to be an athlete who's at least 6'10", who can jump and change shots, or he can come down and James Harden can create 3 people to get on him, and he throw it up in the air, and this guy jumps higher than everybody else. That's your analogy of what you call, like I'm gonna utilize my big. That's it. I mean, in this day in basketball, because everything, not just the Houston Rockets, everyone thinks 3 is better than 2. I'm still, as old as I get, I'm still one of those people. If I put my will on you for 48 minutes and I keep coming to the goal, you're going to break. And I'm going to win because I'm going to get a lot of 3-point and ones. I'm going to get a lot of fouls that stop the clock that gives me my 2 points. I'm going to play defense, and then I'm going to go back, stop the clock again, get some more. So my 4, 5, 6 is going to start adding up to your 3. And I'm saying, so if that's analytics, they're only using it for offense. They're not using analytics for defense.
Like I said, for me, as we talk about the Rockets and their small ball, dub is not going to work. And, I don't know why they did it. I really don't. I think maybe, they think they're smarter than everybody else. But, we'll see. But I think they're going to be an early exit from the playoffs this year. And it's kind of too bad. But look, and I don't know what they're going to do from here. Because when it doesn't work this year, what are you going to do now? Clint Capella's gone. What are you going to do? Because you're going to need to get a big man again. You're going to need to start building up your front court. So the Rockets have put themselves in a trick bag, if you ask me.
I agree with you. And I think it's all about cap, because you've overextended yourself with Harden and Westbrook. I mean, you're talking about the 2 of those guys, that's $80 million, man. Come on.
Yeah.
So you've overextended, and you're trying to just make do. And if D'Antonio is still there after they make the exit, I could see them if the playoffs was to start today, they play Utah. If they play Utah, I could see them winning. I literally can see them winning against Utah. But that's it. I can't see them beating anybody else. Nobody else. I mean, that's just it.
Yeah.
And I really can't if the Jazz got a lead, like a 10-0 lead or 10-2 lead, I don't see them beating the Jazz because Quinn Snyder would know how to, let's compensate it. Every possession is really important. So we're going inside. Let's see who could stop Gobert. Let's see who could stop, Ingles. You're talking about a big guard and a center. It's nothing you could do. I mean, so what? I don't get it. I mean,
neither do I. But anyway. But listen, man, it's starting to get to that witching hour for me because brother need his beauty sleep, and
I ain't gonna stop you from
subscribing. Nah, cause I. But listen, before we go though, and before I get my Z's. You and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago following, the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other 7 passengers on that helicopter, or 7 people on the helicopter, including the pilot of the helicopter. And you said something interesting because in the aftermath of that accident, I was talking with my wife and I said, this thing hurts, man. And I said, and I don't know why um, it is affecting me so deeply when truth be told, I didn't know him. And, there were some people who, I spoke with and, they shared some things and they said, well, no, in some ways you really did know him. And, they talked about how much, seeing him come into the league and, shoot up all them air balls against Utah in the playoffs his first year and then going on to be this one of the best players in the history of the game, and we saw that unfold before our eyes, and all that makes sense. But you said something the other, when we were talking a few weeks
And,
ago,
and I can
that
tell you what I said, so it doesn't make it look like
nah,
I'm listening to
nah,
you.
how you gonna tell me what I know what you said? I'm about to tell you what you
Yeah. But I
no,
know what I said. Yeah,
but
I
you
remember.
said to me that Kobe has been in our homes for 20 years. And
That's
it was
it.
the way you said it, right? That I said, you know what? You're right. You know what I mean? It's like, and if anybody has been in your home
For
several
that
times
long,
over a 20-year period,
you
you
know him.
do know that person. And every time I turned on the game and watched the game or watched an interview, Kobe was in my living room. He was in the den. He was, you know what I mean, in different parts of the house for 20 years. And so when I thought about that from that perspective, I think that more than anything kind of hit home with me. But man, even now, some 4 or 5 weeks later, I tell you what though, it's for me, it's still very hard to think about this. And it's just it's still affecting me, and I'm still saddened by
Right.
his past.
And it's not that you're not saying about all 9 of the people who passed. It's just that he was in your home for 20 years. The rest of them wasn't. So the connection is not the same. And people have to understand that. Even if they don't want to, they go, why do they keep talking about Kobe and his daughter and not anyone else? Well, I could talk about someone else that and not say Kobe and his daughter, and you wouldn't even have an inkling of who I was talking about. So I have to put it in a perspective that you understand who I'm talking about so you can understand the magnitude of how this stuff reaches out to everyone, not just about me. And I even go one step further. You said whom we saw in our homes. No, whom we let in our home. So Kobe, man, I'm telling you, he instilled in things that you and I could do the rest of our lives and could never do. He instilled that I could still be amongst the greatest, still have the work ethic of the worst, trying to be the greatest. And that's what we all need to take from it. No matter what line of work you're in, what profession you're in, just instill that your work ethic is that you're the greatest. That's what I take from it. And I try to be the greatest father because I no longer play. I'm a parent. I try to be the greatest father I can be and the greatest husband I can be every day. And that's what I take from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no question that whether it was his work ethic. But here's the thing: he was supremely talented. He was gifted, but he had a work ethic and he had a drive and a passion that very, very few people have. And we saw that. And, it is something that's inspiring. And, it's just so much about him. And so much that he did on the court and then what he was doing off the court, in the 4 years since he retired, that and he was bringing that same drive, determination, passion, excellence to all the things he was doing. And, it got, cut short. And so, yeah, I mean, it's still something that's, that's still very difficult, but, it's part of life, and you take what you can from the things that he was able to demonstrate and share, and I think what you're saying is you look to apply some of those things to your own life, because they are the types of things that can lead you to be the best at whatever it is you choose to be, whether personally, professionally, or otherwise.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. And we all can learn from each other, man. We just choose to put ourselves on a pedestal like we're the best and we can't. But I'm quite sure Kobe learned that from so many people that if he was to name them all, you'd be like, for real, you learned that from him? And that's what we don't have that option to do right now because he's gone. But if you could stop and ask him that, he'd tell you some people names that he learned from that you'd be like in awe, like for real. And that's what life's about, man. It's every day getting up, being the best you can be, but at the same time knowing that there are people who can teach you something to make you even better. And that's what it's about. And I think Kobe took that approach every day, and he became the best Kobe Bryant that the world will ever see.
That he did. All right, man. Well, look, you kept me up past my bedtime, man. So
I apologize, brother, but
yeah, so I just hope I'm not going to be cranky tomorrow morning. Because
be the best Jeff Fannell that you can be tomorrow.
If I'm going to be the best Jeff Fannell I can be tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to get my best good night's sleep tonight. Otherwise, people are in trouble. But no, I'm all good, man. But listen, it was good catching up with you, man. We're talking about the second half of the season, and we'll see what happens with all of it. And listen, we'll come back soon, man, and just talk about some of these games and matchups that are going to make up the second half of the season, and just keep an eye on everything as we go forward. And then also too, man, obviously we got to keep an eye on the NCAAs, and there's some stuff that we can talk about there as well. But that's for next time, man. For this time, Dub, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective as always, man. And we'll catch up again. We'll catch up again real soon, and keep talking some basketball.
Thank you, my brother. And I'm sorry I don't ever stay on script, man. You know me, man. I have a passion for this game that I don't think many people could ever have, man.
All right, brother. Well, we'll catch up next time. And do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Go back and do your matchups against the Clippers and the Lakers, and see how fast you run out of Lakers players.
I told you I was against the Rockets, and they switched him over on James Harden, and he did a great job, man.
Okay.
Okay. After that.
All right. Okay.
This
is to be continued. We'll continue this next time. But
all right,
all right, Dub. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.